Well, hi, welcome again to our reading of the Greek New Testament, and I'm going to finish off in this recording the book of Revelation. I was up to chapter 22, verse 8. Cargo Ioannes ho akuon kai blepon tauta, kai hoti ekusa kai eblepsa epesa kune, pros kunesai empros then ton podon to angelu to diknuon tos moi tauta. And I, John, the one hearing and seeing these things. So there's no verb here, so I am John, the one hearing and seeing these things. We don't know who this John was. It's certainly pretty clear from the language that it's not John, the gospel writer. Kai hoti ekusa, and when I heard and I saw, epesa, so that's from akuo and blepo, epesa, it should be a strong aorist, but he's used a weak ending, from pipto. So I fell, and then infinitive of purpose, so as to worship before the feet of the angel, to deiknuontes. Now this is a genitive participle from deiknuo, which is a later regularized form from the verb deiknumi. In later Greek, you have these regularized forms of some of the, not all, but some of the me verbs, and deiknumi, you get a deiknuo. So the one showing these things to me. So just to quickly do this again. So I am John, the one hearing and seeing these things, and when I heard and I saw, I fell, so as to worship before the feet of the angel, the one who was showing these things to me. Kai lege moi, horame, sundulos suemi, kai ton adelphon su ton propheton, kai ton terun ton, tus logus tu bibliou tutu. And he says to me, historic present. Now this verse is close but not exactly the same as a similar verse back in chapter 19. It agrees up to about here, and then it's slightly different. So he says to me, horame, so look not, so look no. In other words, do not do this. I am a sundulos, a fellow servant with you, and your brethren, and the prophets, and those keeping the words of this book. So we get a genitive participle here from terio. To theo pros kuneson, imperative here from proskuneo, what takes a dative, worship God. And he says to me, again historic present, mes phragises tus logus tes propheteas tu bibliou tutu, hakairos gai engus estin, ho adikon adikesato eti kai ho ruperos, rup and theto eti, kai ho dikaios sune poiesato eti, kai ho hagios theto eti. It's a slightly strange verses here. So he says to me, do not seal up. This is from sphragisto, which means to put on a sphragus, which is a seal. So do not seal up the words of the prophecy of this book. For, and normally gar would come in here in better Greek, but by New Testament times it often doesn't come, second word in the sentence. For the kairos, the season, is near. Estiengus. Hoadikon, the one doing wrong, let him continue to do wrong. Very strange verse here, but we get an aorist third person singular imperative from adikio. So aorist third person imperative. So let him do wrong still. Kai harupa ros, rup and theto. Now here we get a aorist passive imperative third person. You don't see too many of these. Aorist passive third person singular imperative from rupino, or perhaps rupinomai. There is an old word rupa, which means dirt or filth. There's rupo in earlier Greek, to be filthy, It's filthy in the sense of dirty, in the sense of not clean, of not having bathed. Often used in earlier Greek of clothing. Now by this stage, a ruperos becomes to mean a foul person. So a vile person, perhaps dirty in the modern sense of the word. So, and let the vile or foul person, rupan theto, let him continue to be vile, eti, well that's the continue, so let the vile person be vile still, let him continue to be vile, and then balancing that we have, and the just man, let him poiesato, again another one of these third person singular imperatives from poio, aorist imperative like we had up here. So let him do righteousness, literally. Slight Hebraism, in Hebrew you do or make righteousness, and it seems to be the usage in Greek here. So let the just man, let him continue, or let him do righteousness still, and let the Holy One continue to be holy. And there again we get this theto ending from hagiasdo. So this is the aorist passive, third person singular imperative. So let him continue to be holy. Idu erkamai taku kai homistos mu metemu apodunai ekasto hos to ergon estin autu. Ego to alpha kai to omega, ho protos kai ho eschatos, he arche kai to telos. Behold, I am coming quickly, and my reward, we have to understand, is met emu, with me. Apoduna, infinitive from apodidomi, so as to give it hekasto to each person, hos to ergon estin autu, as is the work of him. So to give, the Greek just says each man, so it's each person, so as to give, as is the work of them, so in accordance with their work. Ego, I am the Alpha and the Omega. Again we see Alpha spelled out and Omega just the letter. The first and the last, the beginning, and totelos, the end. Makarioi hoi plunontes tas stolas auton, hina estai he hexusia auton epitoxulon tes soes kai tois pulosin eis elthosin eis ten pollen. Now the grammar of this sentence is a little bit confused, and there's an abrupt change of subject as well. So it's literally, blessed are the ones washing, this is from Pluno, the ones washing their stolas, their robes. Now literally, in order that the authority of them will be, now you don't normally have hina plus a future. So the only way I could make sense of this was to take the hina with the eis elthosin later on and see this as somehow tucked in the middle. It is a very strange verse. The grammar is confused, and we also get an abrupt change of sentence because the subject of this verb is they, that is the ones washing their robes, but the subject of this verb is exousia in the middle. So I'm going to try and translate it that way. So blessed are the ones washing their robes. The authority will be, or their authority will be, the epi, understand to come, you've got to understand that I think, to come to the tree of life and to the gates, in order that they might enter into the city. That's the only way I can make sense of this verse here, I think. So blessed are those washing their robes. So this means they will have authority. So there will be, the authority will be of them, or for them perhaps, to understand to come. So they will have the authority to come to the tree of life and to the gates, the pulosin, this is the dative plural from pulon, we've had that word before, in order that they may enter into the city. Exo hoi kunes kai hoi, so outside the dogs, and hoi pharmakoi, kai hoi pornoi, kai hoi phones, kai hoi idolatrai, kai pas philon, kai poion pseudos. So the outside will be the dogs, and the pharmakois, I've mentioned before, is probably the sorcerers, those who practice magic, and the prostitutes, and the murderers, and the idolaters, and everyone loving and practicing pseudos, falsehood. This is a noun here, top pseudos, third declension, neuter, hence it's ending in os. This is a neuter, it's third declension, neuter. So outside will be the dogs, the sorcerers, the prostitutes, the murderers, the phones. This is the nominative plural from phonus, and the idolaters, and everyone loving, this is a participle here, and practicing pseudos, falsehood. Ego Jesus epempsa ton angelon mu marturesai humin tauta epitais ecclesiais epiemi he rizda kai togenos David ho aster holampros ho proinos. I, Jesus, I have sent my angel Marturesai to bear witness humin to you in respect of these things, epitais ecclesias, to the churches. So I've sent my angel, well, it's probably for you to bear witness of these things to the churches. I am the Rizda, that's the root, and the genos, the race. David will be genitive here, doesn't decline. So I am the root and the race of David. Hoaste holampros hoproinos, the star, the bright one. The proinos is the early star, so it's the morning star. So I am the bright morning star, and the spirit, kai to pneuma, kai he numphe legusin, urku, kai hokuon, epato, urku, kai hodipson, ekesto, hothelon, labete, hudor, tsoes doria. And the spirit and the bride. Now we've got two subjects here, and we've got a plural verb. Often you just get a singular verb and it just goes with the nearest one, but here we're getting a plural verb. So the spirit and the bride say, urku, imperative from urkumai, come, and let the one hearing, let him speak. This is a third person singular aorist imperative from Lego, so it's apon is the root. They're using a weak aorist imperative ending, but it's a strong verb. So the meaning is here, and the one hearing, let him say, urku, come. And the one dipson, this is a participle from dipsao, the one thirsting, ekesto, another, this is a present middle imperative third person singular, let him come. And the one wishing, and we get a strong aorist, third person singular imperative, the one wishing, let him take water, the water of life, and dorian is that adverb meaning freely. So just to do that a bit quickly, so the spirit and the bride say, come, and the one hearing, let him say, urku, come, and the one thirsting, person who is thirsty, let him come, and the one wishing, let him take the water of life, dorian, freely. Marturo ego panti to akuonti tus logus tes propheteas tu bibliu tutu, ean tis epithei epauta epithese hotheos epauton tas plegas tas gegramenas ento bibliu tutu, kai eon tis aphele apoton logon tu bibliu tes propheteas tautes, aphele hotheos tomeras autu apotuk sulu tes zoes, kai ectes polios tes hagias ton gegramenon into biblio tuto. So, if, I'm sorry, I've done it like here. So I bear witness to each one hearing the words of the prophecy of this book. If someone, epithe is from epitithemi. It's cognate with our word epithet in English. It means to add to place next to place in addition to, so hence to add. So if anyone adds ep outer to these things, now we get the future from epitithemi. God will add against him, or perhaps to him, the plagues, the ones having been written in this book. Kai aeon tis aphele, and this is apo plus that hell root from hyreo, to take. The aorist is halon, and the root of that is hell, hence the pi in apo has been aspirated. So if anyone, it means to take away, and in fact in Greek mathematics this is the verb used for subtraction. So if anyone subtracts or takes away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God will take away tomeros autu, the portion of him, so his portion, his part, from the tree of life. There's that toxulon again. From the tree of life and from the holy city, of the things having been written in this book. So I think that really goes perhaps with the earlier bit. So if anyone removes anything of the things written in this book, God will remove his portion from the tree of life and from the holy city. Lege hot maturon tauta nai urkamai taku. Amen urku kuri e Jesu, he charis du curio Jesu metapanton. The one bearing witness to these things, lege says, nai, that's the later Greek word for yes, sort of indeed, yes. Urkamai taku, I am coming quickly, that adverbial use of the neuter. Amen, come Lord Jesus. And the last verse says, the grace of the Lord Jesus, understand, be metapanton with all. And that is the end of chapter 22, and that is the end of the recording of the Revelation of John.